All right, all praise to the Most High, Yahweh Bashmi, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Kakwadash, Yahweh being who people call God, Yahweh Shai being who people call Jesus. Double honors to the apostles over the Great Millstone Church. Salutations as well to the elder bishops and the rest of the elders on down to the rest of the Akim. Also, the branches hold for the true word, for true life and all true faith and sincerity. So, this is going to be a message dealing with or entitled along the lines of hey, take heed to what you're not taking heed to in the sight of the Lord. You know, that people telling you or that you see as things that, can happen or, things that were people down, things that were other people's downfall or downfalls, or shortcomings. And, if it just be things that people know what's going on, people learn or perceive that it's going on through themselves, either experiencing it or seeing that it's a case for others. And then you get with all that information, you know what I'm saying? And you take it like it's nothing, like it's just like urban legend or myth or something like that, because the scriptures tell you, or just in the world, I should say, like they say, you learn from others' mistakes, but pretty much the scriptures go on to co-sign that with Galatians 6:1, which I'm gonna be reading to use this or to express this message, and this warning, because there's a lot of knowledge and insight of things that's coming out that are dealing with matters that can go on or events one can find themselves in or things that ultimately end up being a lot of people's demise, and that in particular being these things in particular concerning Jake, the things that go on amongst Jake and our communities and things like that. So when you hear about these different ordeals and stuff like that, you want to take heed to them because it's reality. It's the reality, on earth, and it's things of the Most High. So before I actually read that, let's go to Daniel 12. Daniel in the 12th chapter, and we're going to jump to the point. Verse 4, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Yeah, we're in those times, like we're in the times where with enlightenment, the internet, revelation, the prophets being back, revealing things of the scriptures, but ultimately, what's going on earth. All right. And again, this is how knowledge is being increased. A lot of things that's going on is and that can happen on earth is able to just be that you couldn't necessarily know about unless you went through it ourselves, that now you can, get insight on, if you will, these days without doing so, without that being the case, if you will. All right, at least get knowledge of it, because it didn't say understanding was going to be increased. It said knowledge was going to be increased. How? Because knowledge deals with knowing through the likes of the internet, the likes of the prophets, the teachers using things that, Jake put on the internet to edify him, because in these ordeals that are being recorded, there is Jake going through them, but Jake don't understand them, and then that's when brothers will come in and do videos on them and things like that. And then it's tons of things it's not even touched on necessarily, because it's so much knowledge coming out through the internet. People with podcasts, people, you know, knowing a little bit of one story that may be on the internet that's being talked about amongst everybody who also have an angle on it. It's just stuff like that. And a lot of the same continuous themes. But nonetheless, all that being through the internet and that being a way to where knowledge is being increased, you know? So your knowledge is being increased on how many people is being demising and how and what all can one, meet a demise by. So you want to take this serious. All right? The scriptures tell you wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and the strength of your salvation. The more you know. You know what I'm saying? The more you're aware of that's going out here. That's why the scriptures say measure the times. Redeem the times for the days are evil. In Ephesians 5. So when you're dealing with that word redeeming the times, for the days are evil, it's telling you to what? Let's get that real quick. Ephesians 5 and 16. Redeeming the time because the days are evil. In the NLT it says make the most of every opportunity in these evil days. So let's get that word redeem real quick. And then we'll just get all I had on this, which is Galatians.
Strong's G, 1805. Exargarazzo.
So when it says to redeem, it says to buy up. Right, I'm gonna jump to 2. To buy up for oneself, for one's use. Now, what's another word for buy? What's another way to say buy? Because what simply pay, right? And they tell you to what? Pay attention. So pay attention, man. It says to make wise and sacred use of every opportunity for doing good. Right. You do good when you see what's going on and you see why certain things is going on and why people are being falling victim or victims because of these things. You do good when you realize that, see that, and then you avoid those things. You pay attention to that one, this is going on, and people are constantly falling to this and paying attention to what they doing or aren't doing, how these things, these events of different sorts are happening. Because I can play in a clip on what really triggered me to say this, but I could just keep it broad and general for you. So when you coming across this crazy shit that Jake be going through, whether it be scandals and things like this and people snaking each other out, just weird shit, you know what I'm saying? You want to take heed, how people fall to certain things and being used and, so forth and so on. You want to take heed to that, from you men to especially women, you know what I'm saying? Especially you brothers and sisters first and foremost that believe. All right. It says so that the zeal and well-doing are as it were the purchase money. See that? By which we make the time our own. It says to rescue from loss. Yeah. So because that's what redeem go back to in the Hebrew. It says no man shall save thee, or no man shall buy thee. It meant save. So in order to save yourself from this untoward generation, like Yahweh Shah said, we grab this. Acts 2 and 40, Salakia. And with many other words did he testify. I believe this was Peter. Yeah, this was Peter that was speaking. 2 and 40. It says, and with many other words did he testify and exhort, saying, save yourselves. See that? So redeem from this untoward generation. All right? This is in the NLT. It says, then Peter continued preaching for a long time, strongly urging all his listeners, Save yourselves from this crooked generation. So all this stuff that, are epidemics and scandals and shit like that you find amongst Jake, you get whiff of through, the internet, or, it may, brothers telling you about it, from even in things in the truth, things that happen amongst the woke community of Israel, the particulars. You take heed, pay attention to, make sure you take heed to those things. Pay attention. Save yourself from that by taking heed, see, by redeeming. All right, this is Ephesians 5:15. See ye then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. All right, so you use this, as it tell you in the NLT, make the most of every opportunity in these evil days. You use this to your advantage. You're like, oh, that can't happen to me, or well, so why would you know about it? Why are you knowing about how many things that you can literally find out about how many Jake's going out and it's just to the point to where it's coming out to be why. It's coming to the point to where you getting a why on the things Jake demising to and the issues amongst ourselves and how things we can be faced with and ultimately avoid as Israelites, especially woke ones. Because now that you know that these things are going on, you know it's possible. All right? So, hey, you better take heed. So now that just lead me here. This is Galatians 6:1. Brethren, if any man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. So when somebody go through something, they tell you about it, a trial they went through, a tribulation, some fucking hell they catching. You don't want to be not, you want to pay attention to, how you listening to that, how you considering that. You don't just be, oh, that's just shit you going through, or it's just one ear and not the other, because you can get tempted by the same things because the Lord watching you. One of them things is of the reality of the Lord's reality on the earth, if you will. So it'll behoove you as one that hasn't gone through this or aren't going through this, or even as much, to take heed to someone that is otherwise, before you in the sight of the Lord, because it's like yeah, man, every time I go over there, man, they damn nigga get to shooting or whatever, and then you never listen, and then you go take your ass over there, and you get your car hit, or you get shot. Some stupid, it's just little things like that. So it wouldn't be no point of the Lord allowing us to know all the things that's going on earth if you could do nothing with it. It's for you to pay attention and save yourself from this untoward generation, because this is what's happening among Jake. These are the things. So I can give you a clear-cut example, of some shit, you will really get it, but you got to think for yourself. All right? This is an NLT, dear brothers and sisters, if another believer is overcome by some. Now, this is actually talking about those in the faith first and foremost, because you got the craziness, the things, events, matters, typical shit that go on amongst 2/3 Jakes, and then you got those things that go on amongst those in the truth. You hear about a mug robbing the church, or some damn woman trying to take over, like all these different things. These things possible. Things in the scriptures from the ancient times, But nonetheless, it says, you who are godly, see, if another believer is overcome by some sins, all type of sins, right? You who are godly, that ain't going through that, should gently and humbly help that person back on the right path. But that's not the point. This the point. And be careful not to fall into the same temptation yourself. Now, how would that happen? Because you wasn't taking heed. You was proud. You wasn't humble. And you end up fucking like, oh shit, damn. Let me absorb this. Let me get the game from this real quick. I'm gonna end here. This is Galatians 6:1 in the GNT. My friends, if someone is caught in any wrong kind of wrongdoing, right? Those of you who are spiritual, right, should set him right, but you must do it in a gentle way. And keep an eye on yourselves so that you will not be tempted too. See that? So you want to take heed to what the hell your ass not taking paying attention to as far as dilemmas and events, this knowledge ultimately, knowledge of things that go on with individuals and Jake, you know, when it's put to you in the form of a video or, someone telling you about their trials and tribulations. You know how you be in church and people get up and say, they testimony, you know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff. You want to take heed because the Lord watching. Why you think the Lord have these people share their testimonies? It's so you can avoid. You can take heed or believe because it could be a bad testimony. It's all for the balance. But if you sitting here, in the sight of the Lord, who's watching, the angels watching, who you know what I'm saying, but also yeah, and they see you not taking heed. You know what I'm saying? What you think? You want to be careful of that because what do you think gonna happen? You know, you gonna you gonna prove that it's true. You're gonna be another person to prove it's true. You're gonna be a statistic. You gotta be careful to not become another statistic. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why all this stuff coming out. And it's definitely proven Isaiah 33:6 to be true. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times. Because when you just find out about all this stuff Jake going through in the hood, it's fucking, just all this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, bro. Like the different wickedness niggas can get into, how it play out, from, because you hear it all as being prophecy ultimately, and you be like, yeah, Jake just cursed. But you want to take heed, you can get a lot of gain from this. But if you don't, you'll fuck around, end up in the same scenario, and you flash back, and like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit real. I should have, I really had the knowledge to avoid this. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I say. I say, call them like how Bashim Yahweh Shah. The honors to the apostle of the Great Millstone Church, and the rest, and salutations to the rest of the elder bishops, and the rest of the elders in Akim, also the church's whole forth. It's true word for true life. All right, shalom.